Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Dab's Fabrications. I'm using a spool gun for the aluminum. I'm going to be doing some aluminum, and I use this to tack it up. This is usually a pretty good machine, but it went through the travel, from California to Texas, and it just stopped working. We were able to figure out that the gas was getting from the bottle to the welding machine, but not to this. So we had to cut this thing open and look at the tubing inside. The tubing ended up being rotted and broken, and we went and got some tubing from the hardware store, reran the tubing inside, taped it all back up. Seems to be working fine. That's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be using this, give you guys a look at how it works. We're going to be making something cool. We always make something cool, but that's what we're going to be doing right now. Stick with me. We're going to see if this thing is going to continue working. It's going to be a great day. Here we go. Okay, this is portaband. It's usually handheld. You just hold on to it. Cuts through metal, steel, whatever you want to cut with it, really. A lot of guys stand them up, put them in a vise, and just use the table. Now you have a bandsaw. We're going to use it like that today. This is a aluminum diamond plate. That's what we're going to be working with today. That's what I was talking about, the aluminum. We're going to make some cool things, or a cool thing, with that today. You saw me tracing them out. We're going to cut these out, and we're going to fold them a little bit. That's what that line is right there. Had to grind a little bit of a groove in it to make it bend easier. That we'll get to later. We'll talk about it later. But just so you know that that's what that is when you see it. Right now we're just going to start cutting this out. Sometimes it's hard to get this trick. This is an old Craftsman 6-inch belt sander. Picked up along the way, cleaned it up, built a little table for it. I'm using it in the standing position right now. It lays down. You could do it flat also, but this is usually how I use it for metal parts, things like that. These are really nice, really nice. We're going to be sanding these parts that you saw me cut a little bit ago. Just going to straighten them up. I try to cut them pretty close to the line that I have on there. We're going to grind the line away for the most part. That's what we're going to be looking for. These are pretty messy, but we just need to straighten them up with this thing before we go to our next tool. Okay, so what you see here is my sheet metal brake. I made this years ago, and I mean, as you could tell, it's way overbuilt. It's just stuff that I had, you know, scrap, big angle iron, piece of plate. I made this screw knob. See, it spins. It's got a spring on this side, and you open it up or close it, and the spring will pop it up while you're loosening it. Put a piece of sheet metal in there, tighten it down, and then you pick this up and it bends that sheet metal like that. It works. Again, that's the way most of my tools are. If it's just what I need. It's nothing fancy. It just does what I need it to do. But that's why these pieces have that grind mark in it, to make it easier to bend, and I don't want to crack this. But real quick, like I said, this side has a spring in it. This side has never had a spring. It's just a bolt that I made, that I welded in there. You take this loose, and I gotta pick that up to slide the metal in there. But look at this, I found a spring. So first off, I'm gonna put a spring in there. Make that a little easier for us, and then we'll get to bending those pieces. I'll be right back. We're just gonna put this whole spring in here because it feels like it's nice and strong, but it feels like it'll go all the way down, but still have enough strength to push this big piece of heavy angle up. Okay, that's cool. We're gonna move that more. Let's see. Open this end. Put that in there. Bring it back. Look at that. That's pretty cool. I like that. Okay. Get this back on there. Oops, what's happening here? Let's see. Come on. I think it started cross-threading it a little bit. There we go. Just persuade it a little bit. Sometimes if you hammer on a nut, you bend whatever thread that is, it's messing you up. It goes right on there. Look at that. Okay, so look at this. The spring pushes it right up. Beautiful. Just needs to be tall enough to get in there. All right, let's reset. See what we can do about bending. Off camera, I ran this over the belt sander again just to get the edges off, get the burrs, so that when we put it in this brake, all we're dealing with is the base metal and not any kind of, metal sticking up that could throw us off. What I've done is I set this thing on both sides so that this will just get under there. And what we're going to do is go ahead and bend this. The angle that we're looking for to bend this is about 65 degrees. That's this right here. So we don't have to bend it a lot. It's not a 90 degree. We're not looking to bend it a whole lot, just a little bit. And this bend is just what I found works for this project. It's just a place to start. This is what we're going to do. We're going to bend them all to 65 degrees. If we need to take that bend out a little bit or put a little bit more bend into it to make everything line up, we could do that. But this is a really good starting point. 65 degrees. So we're going to put this under here. We're going to line this corner and this corner, the points, that point, this point, with the point of where it's going to bend at. It's going to bend at right here in this seam where this thing is going to move. So we're going to bring this down. We're going to make it as close as possible to the center line of that bend right there. We'll tighten this side down. So that it's not floating around in there. When we try to bend it, it's not moving. So this is tightened down now. That side's tightened down. It's pretty even. I can't move it around in here. So let's bend it and get as close to the 65 as we can. Okay, now you can see that's a little bit too much. See that? A little bit too much. I'll show you how we're going to straighten that out a little bit. Let's continue bending the other ones. let's take a look at how these things turned out. You could see that, especially on these sharper ends, that they didn't quite get bent the way that they should. That back radius looks pretty good. But let's take a look at what we're actually making. So there you have it. It's a 3D star. And again, we're going to need to adjust the bends a little bit to get them to line up better, bring the center together. We don't want to have a whole lot of gaps, but we want the angles to meet where they're supposed to meet. That's what makes it look good. You can see that I got to straighten out some of the far sharp corners, but that'll be simple. We'll take care of that right now. Let me show you this. The dimensions to make this are kind of trippy. I looked all over the internet. I started making these years ago, and I couldn't find any measurements, so I just kind of had to start doing my own thing until things started working. Angles started working, but I have a formula that I'll show you in a minute that you can copy, and you can make any size star. So I made the star that works, and then I made a formula that you go by the size of star that you want, and you could figure out how to cut out each part. Here, I'll show you. It'll give you the dimensions of this outside, this dimension here. It'll give you the dimension of how far to cut it this way, how to get these angles, which is not even getting the angles. You're just making the marks and then you're connecting the marks. It's kind of simple the way I did it. For some reason, I don't know, I don't remember cutting this out or why I put this, but this is one of my patterns, and I put 11.12 OD. That's outside diameter of the star. So 0.125 is an eighth. So that's 11 and an eighth OD. And you know, you can get pretty close to within those dimensions. Let me grab a tape. So if you go from this mark right here, 1 foot, over here to the 11-inch mark, we'll see how close we got just by laying it together like this. So if I go tip to tip, you could see that that's right there. I guess that's why I wrote that on there. That's pretty good. But I'll show you the formula. The formula that I have, you can make the star any dimension that you want it. This is 11 and an eighth. You can make it 12 inches. You can make it 22 inches. You can make it 5 feet. However you want to do it. I'll show you that formula right now. Hey, I found that formula that I was going to show you. It gives you all these dimensions and how to make each one of these for that 3-dimensional star. But I just looked at them and they're really confusing, kind of confusing for me. So stick around to the end of the video. What I'm going to do is I'll actually write them out and show you exactly how to do the math, and I'll draw this out and show you how to do the dimensions on it so you can make a pattern, cut them all out. So stick around, we'll get to that. Right now, let's straighten these things out a little bit. So we just got my trusty ball peen. always use a ball peen for some reason. I got lots of hammers, but these are my favorite to use for metal anyway. Let's try it. And while we're at it, we're gonna bend it, make it close up a little bit more to match the other ones. I'm gonna bring this out here a little bit more, see if I can get that bend it, tweak over just a little bit. I got it in there pretty strong. I don't really want to smash anything. This is aluminum, but I think we're going to be good. Okay guys, we're going to try to tack this thing. You can see I got this weight on a couple of these points right here. I got it grounded right here, which is holding this point down. I'm going to hold these other 2 points down because this has a tendency when this wire comes out to just shove everything out of the way. And this first tack is going to be the most important because we're going to tack it right in the middle, and that's going to hold the whole thing together for us. And then the rest of the tacks will be on the back side so that you don't see it on the shiny part out here, and we could tack it together inside and hold it all together so that it's not going to fall apart there. I know, it sounds impossible. We're going to see if we can do it. Okay, come on now. I don't know what it is about this spool gun, but it really shoves out hard before it arcs. And so it's just constantly pushing you away from the work, or pushing the work away from you. So we got some pretty big tacks on there, something we can clean up later. I'm hoping it got all 5 parts. We're gonna check it right now. Okay, feels good. But right now, we'll line up all these middle parts really well and see if we can get tacks on those. And start tacking at it. I'm going to tack right here. Kind of hold that up like that. Let's see what happens. Put some weight against it so I can hold that together, and boom, we'll tack that. Go to this next one. Just keep climbing up. tack this one a little bit better. Give it the drop test. Nice. There you go. All right, so feels good. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is get in here and clean that up a little bit. Okay, let's grind this bad dog. See what else there. I got this formula, and I got this piece of sheet metal. It's 10, I think. 10. And I'm going to show you how to take this formula, make any size star you want, out of any material really. You can make it out of cardboard or paper, sheet metal, however you want to do it. But I'm going to take all this confusion right here. I'm going to show you how to lay that out. I'm going to make a pattern on here. It's going to be pretty cool. Let's check it out.
I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen. I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never.
Cut. Okay. Okay, look. Here's that sheet metal. Just cut out right there. Here's the pattern. Came out really good, really good. I just never showed you how to do it. So, anyway, we got some more room on here. Let me get set up. We'll go through the whole thing right now. It's going to be awesome. Okay, so real quick, here's the dimensions. This is the formula. Get it to where you can see it, I guess. For your length, you're going to do your OD times 0.54 for your length. I'm going to show you this in a minute. Now, what I'm talking about OD is the outside of your star. The round, like if you drew a circle around your star, That's the outside diameter of the star, whatever you want it to be. Now, you can make them as big as you want, but if it's in feet, say you want to do something that's 2 feet across, then you got to convert it to inches and use 24 inches. Everything's got to be in inches, so it's 0.54 times whatever you want for your OD in inches. We're going to do one, this one that we're going to set up is for 16 inches. So it's going to be 16 times 0.54. And then the D dimension is what I'll show you in a second. It's 0.15 times your OD. And your width dimension is 0.23 times your OD. So let me show you what those are. This line right here represents your center line of your part that you're making. That center line right here. Right there, boom, okay. This is your width. That's your width, boom, boom, boom. Your D is the dimension from the top, very top point down to the center line of this line right here that goes across. This is like a kite, right? It looks like a kite. So that cross member of your kite is the D dimension from the top down to that. That's D. Let's lay that out real quick. So your length is your OD, which is going to be 16. So we're going to go 16 times 0.54 equals 8.64. We're going to call 64 5/8. So this one is 8 5/8 inches. That's from the top down to the bottom. Okay, so there is our top mark. We're going to come down here to 8 5/8. Bangala, right there. So our length is from here to there. Length, 8 5/8. Our D dimension is going to be 16 again, because that's how big we want the star, times 0.15. 0.15 equals 2.4. Bangala. 2.4. The 0.4 we're going to call 7/16. So it's 2 and 7/16 down from our main, from our top mark. 2 and 7/16. 2 and 7 of them 16ths, okay? There's that line. Now, that's our cross member. We got to get a straight line across that cross member. La da da da, la da da da, da da ding dong ding. Okay, here we go. Let's say that we make a straight edge. Right along our mark, which is right there. And what I'm doing is making this straight with this leg, and this one straight with this leg, and I'm just going to make a line. I don't care. And then I'm going to continue that line that way, so that we can have a straight line. Bangala. There is our cross member for our kite. Okay, right here. Length, cross member, Now, the dimension that we need next is the width. And that's going to be how wide this thing is. Width is 16 again, because 16 is how big we want the star, times 0.23. 3.68. 68 we're going to call 3/16. That makes it tough. Because for this number, the 3 11/16 is how wide it is. So in order to get from here to here and here to here, we got to split that number. I'm going to show you how to do that too quick right here. So we have 3 11/16. We want to split that in half. This is how you do it. First of all, this is an odd number. So you take 1 away from that, which leaves 2. 2 you can split into half. Half of 2 is 1. Now, to get your fraction, because it's an odd number, you add the 16 to the 11, the bottom number to the top number. That's 27, right? 27. Now to get your bottom number, you just double that bottom number. Double it. So 2 times 16 is 32. That's 3 11/16 in half. That's half of 3 11/16. So now you can mark 1 and 27/32s, 1 and 27/32s. Let's do that. I know that's a lot of 32s. And this one doesn't even have 32s. It's just got 16ths. So we're just going to count them. Each 16 is 2 32s, right? So we go 2. Here's our 1 right here. Here's our center. There's our 1. And then 27/32s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26 and a half is 27. Boom. There's our 1. And then we go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26 and a half, 27/32s. I know it's crazy with this big ass pen. I mean, that's a 332 right there. But anyway, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. So that's how you do it. What we need to do now, it kind of makes it better. No light, but now I got no light. What? Okay. Now what you do is all these marks. There's your top mark. Here's your bottom mark. And then you got your width mark. Boom, boom. Now you just, and you line all those out. This line to that line goes bang-a-lot. Now it's better to do this with a pencil or something thin. This is just so that you can see what I'm doing. Match these lines, bang-a-lot. Then you match these lines down to this one way down here that I can't see because you guys are in the way. We're going to do our best. Get our finger out of the way. Well, bang. And then we're going to mark this one over here. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Here we go. Ready? Bang. There it is. There is your, what are we calling that? Is that a wing? I guess it's one of the wings, one of the 5 points. It's a point. It's one of the 5 points of the star. There it is. That is what we made before. Bing. Right there. That makes a 16 OD star. Now you make 5 of these, and you do it just like we did in the video. You bend them at what? At what? I'm going to say 65 degrees to 68 degrees. That's what you bend that middle to. Okay? 65 to 68 degrees puts us right in there. And then you got yourself a star. Okay? You guys are freaking awesome. Please subscribe. Please tell your friends. Comment. Let me know all the things that I'm doing wrong. Let me know all the things I'm doing right. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Bing! That's a thumbs up. You can't really see the whole thing. The thumbs up. Later.